Hello everyone, welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're all good and well. So in this Friday's album review, I'm reviewing the 14th studio album from melodic death metal titans Amorphis and their album Halo, released today on Atomic Fire Records, and the album is 11 tracks and 55 minutes in length. And for me, this album's very much following in the footsteps of their previous album, Queen of Time, in that it sounds very big, it sounds very grand, really good production, everything's mixed very well, and certainly is in the style of their more recent albums, I would say, of the 2010s era very much. And certainly, I would say, picks up in the kind of good form that we got on the album Queen of Time. So this lineup, the Amorphis lineup, has pretty much stayed largely, very similar. And this is the same lineup, certainly, as their previous album, Queen of Time. You've got Tommy Jutson, obviously, the powerhouse vocalist who demonstrates such a great array of vocal styles. He can bellow at a very low pitch, but also has those great soaring melodic kind of vocals as well. Asa Holopainen, as ever, on the lead guitar. He's been very much a mainstay of Amorphis. Tomi Koivisari also. Then you've got Santeri Kallio on the keyboards, Jan Rekberger on the drums, Olli-Pekka Lane on the bass as well. I think does some vocals here too. So we had two pre-release singles, which were On the Dark Waters and The Moon. But this album starts off with a real bang, and something I love about Amorphis' albums, particularly in recent years, is they seem to open with these absolutely fantastic tracks. I can think of, obviously, The Bee from the previous album. I also often think of Sampo from Skyforger. They sometimes just know how to put their stamp and their authority onto their albums. They do so again here with Northwoods, which is definitely a track you need to, you want to check out as an Amorphis fan, because I also think it offers just something a tiny bit fresh, as well as being a really impacting opener, which they've obviously gone for and delivered with great effect on Halo, their latest album. The pre-release singles were pretty good too, particularly On the Dark Waters. I really liked the as ever, the beautiful chorus from Tommy Jutson. And then something they like to do a lot, Amorphis, is add these little folky elements here and there. I kind of see them more as a sort of a kind of a melodeath band, but they add in folky elements like with Eastern sounding instruments, often using kind of also delayed effects on guitar, or wah-wah kind of style guitar as well here and there. And you get, more of those trademark Amorphis stuff on this album too. And I feel like they do quite a good job of whilst sounding extremely like Amorphis in parts of this album. I will come on to something I want to say about the kind of familiarity of this album a bit later on, but they do also, I think, there's a bit of a freshness to some of their approaches to these songs, which I really liked. And Windmane, which is quite a heavy track, a lot more on the harsh vocals on that track, but I liked that one, how it developed, particularly at the end. And an example, also, A New Land 2, track number 5, which again felt, whilst it kind of sounded like classic Amorphis, they did one or two slightly different things, like with a slightly more groovy kind of a rhythm in the middle of that track, which, well, not groovy necessarily, but it had a bit of groove to it, which again for me just took a break from what you would typically expect from just the upfront kind of melodic mid-tempo kind of track. Instead, you get something here just sounded a little fresh to me, and you particularly got that on track 10, The Wolf, as well, where they sounded almost thrashy. It's almost like a bit of thrash metal going on in The Wolf, I thought, but very, very good track, and a good one to kind of bring you towards the end of the album, to wake you up almost and remind you that this is a brand new Amorphis effort. When the Gods Came, Seven Roads Come Together was pretty good, actually, as that track reminds me a lot of The Way, though, from Tornala, but it was like a good kind of different version of that. It's slightly faster even, I think, and a bit heavier than The Way from Tornala. Did I say it's just Seven Roads? It's Seven Roads Come Together is the full title of that particular track. And My Name is Night was a nice way to finish. Slightly understated track featuring the vocals of, let me get her name right, we had Petronella Netamon. accompanying the vocals in that track to finish off the album on a nice kind of understated note. To finish off, a really solid album. I mean, I feel like I say this with a lot of these reviews, that certain bands, they just don't know how to disappoint. And I think with Amorphis generally in their kind of later years, they have produced a lot of good output, and they've been remarkably consistent for a band that has been around for 30 odd years. And they're just one of these bands who really know how to write very good music, I think, is the simplest way I can say it for Amorphis. So to sum up, really good album. I do think some of the later middle part of the album was pretty familiar to me as being more of the Amorphis that I felt like I'd heard before. But on the whole, this album still gave us just that little bit of a hint of fresh sound that I liked, for me anyway, thinking about their other recent albums. And I liked that it still feels like there's enough of an evolution just about to keep both old Amorphis fans perhaps happy, as well as bringing in some newer ones too. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Very good release, very good release. Not too much I can say that's certainly, I could criticise. So 8 out of 10 do I give this latest Amorphis effort. What do you guys think? As ever, drop in the comments whether you or not you also thought this was a good album. What were your favourite tracks from this album? I don't think I've said my favourite tracks, come to think of it. Definitely the opener. I loved On the Dark Waters, Windmain, A New Lands, lots of the first half actually. Really liked The Wolf and the final track as well. So do drop in the comments what you thought. Otherwise, from me, actually, I'm going to do a little note at the end of the channel before I do say goodbye. Next 3 videos coming up. So my next one is going to be the Voivod album review, Synchro Anarchy, which I am planning to do on Tuesday or Wednesday next week. And I haven't even started to listen to that one yet, so I need some time with it before I do a proper review of the new Voivod. Voivod can take a bit of time to digest. Then Immolation's album, I think next Friday. Then I'm doing an Amorphis ranked after I've had even more time with this album to put that somewhere in an order for their discography. I'm really looking forward to doing the Amorphis discography ranked. So that's it. That's the next 3 videos I've got coming up on the channel. So from me, take care everybody. Bye for now.